Hello and welcome or welcome back. Today I am talking about how to use the technique of revision to rewrite a situation which has caused some kind of pain or injury to your body and returning it back to health. And I want to use a personal example of how to actually do that, so stick around. My name is Hedley Derenzie. I am a qualified life coach, adult educator, and author. I am also super passionate about the amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the wonderful Neville Goddard. It is the stories that create our life. So if you want to change your life, you have to change the story. And if you want to create the most amazing life, then you need to know how to tell amazing stories. And that is why I am here. I'm telling myself better stories and it's transforming my life, and I want to help you to do the same. If you would like further support, I am available for one-on-one coaching and also email coaching. My details are in the box below, so you can get in touch with me there. If you'd like to stay connected on socials, I'm on Instagram under Hedley Derenzie, and my coaching page, Remember You Are the One. Those details are down below as well. Okay, let's get into it. So today we are talking about the wonderful technique of revision and how you can use that with your physical body. And I want to use a personal example that happened to me yesterday and how I used this technique to turn around a situation where my physical body was injured and in pain, and I was able to quickly get ahead of that. But before I do, just where this comes from is Neville Goddard, and I cannot remember where it is. I will try and find it. But there is a story in one of Neville's many books where he talks about a woman. He's talking about revision, and he's talking about a woman who had an injury. Something happened to her where it caused her to lose her eyesight. She came to one of Neville's lectures and she learned about the technique of revision, and she employed this technique in her own life where she replayed the situation that led to her losing her eyesight. And she rewrote the situation. She revised it according to this technique, using the power of her imagination. And what she found was that as the more and more that she did this, she found that her eyesight started to improve and to come back. And I'm not sure whether she got her complete eyesight back, but I just really took to this story because I just thought, of course, this makes sense. If consciousness is the one and only reality, and that reality is always reflecting back the quality of our consciousness in terms of everything that's outside of us, well, the body is outside of us in a sense. It's part of the physical world. So therefore, our physical bodies are also reflections of the quality of consciousness. These laws apply to our physical bodies in the same way they do to our physical realities. And what actually happened to me yesterday, and I won't go into the story of what happened because I have revised it and I don't want to affirm the old story, but there was a situation at work that involved boiling water and my hand, which had a glove on it. So the boiling water ended up inside the glove on my hand. So it was trapped in there. And I managed to get the glove off, and I was obviously in quite a bit of pain with my hand. I didn't realize the perhaps extent of what had happened until maybe 10 minutes later, where my hand was really starting to hurt and I was starting to get really tired. I realized that, oh, hang on a second, this might be a little bit kind of more serious than what I thought. So I spoke to one of the nurses and she said to run it under cold water, which is what I did. She asked me how it happened, and I told her what had happened, and it was my mistake. I did something in a way that was incorrect and I wasn't concentrating. And so I told her this story, and as I'm running my hand under the cold water, I thought, it just occurred to me, hang on a second, I can revise this situation. I can revise this in my mind. So I had my hand running under the cold water and I'm just sitting there. So what I did was I replayed the event that had just happened 10 minutes earlier to where I was acting correctly and I was doing what I needed to be doing in the correct way so that no boiling water was spilt and no boiling water met with my hand. So I revised this situation in my mind as I'm, I've got my eyes closed and my hands running under the cold water. And I replayed this situation quite a few times. It was super easy because I knew exactly what I needed to have done differently for this not to happen. So I just played that scene out over and over and over again. I went about my day, but I could see it was sort of blistering a little bit, and I was in a lot of pain that afternoon. But I did keep replaying the scene of having this not happen. And then I forgot about it. And today I went into work and a few people who were aware of the situation came up to me and they said, "Hey, how's your hand?" And it was at that moment that I realized I had completely forgotten about what happened, because my hand there was absolutely no pain. There was no hint of what had happened yesterday. It was like it never happened. And so when they asked how my hand was, I was like, it took a moment because I was like, oh yeah, it was just like it never happened. Now, I know that this is a small event, but in consciousness, there is no big or small other than the assumptions we make about it. So we decide whether something is too big or too small for this to work. But according to the law of assumption, the law is the law. This has to work across any injury or anything that involves the physical body, because the physical body is an expression like anything else. It's an expression of the quality of our consciousness. Therefore, it has to work. I don't know anyone's situation. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a specialist. I'm not any of those things. What I do know though is these laws, they don't discriminate between that's more serious, that's not serious enough. Like it's across the board. If it's sort of one size fits all. So I just wanted to share this story with you, that if you have something in your physical body that is a result of a situation or an event that occurred where you hurt yourself or something happened, I would encourage you to give this a go. It's a very powerful technique. The past and the future are the same. They are expressions of consciousness. And it's not about changing the past so much. We're not about changing the event. We're changing consciousness. And when we change consciousness, the outer reality has to reflect that back. And since there is no time, everything is happening in the now, then as we work with revision, the body has to catch up with this new consciousness. So I would employ you to give this a go. All of these teachings, give them a go. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. It's really, it's up to you to figure it out for yourself whether these work for you or not. They certainly work for me. And even in the situations that are a little bit more tricky than, say, the story I just shared with you earlier, it's really, I really have faith in these teachings. I absolutely believe that these are a game changer. I know that for a fact. I've already experienced so many of the benefits from employing these teachings in my life to date. So I know that they apply across, regardless whether it's a small thing or a big thing. We're the ones that make that judgment, whether this will work for this because it's small or it won't work for that because it's too big. We apply those assumptions. So if we can just kind of remove the judgments of big or small or good or bad or serious or not serious enough, whatever it is, then we can really use these teachings for anything. We can apply them to our life for anything, whether it's to revise a situation that happened in the past or recreate something for our future. It's really up to us, and it's all in our imagination. So the way I revised this situation from yesterday was simply through the engagement of my imagination and playing the scene out as I would have liked it to have happened, and playing it enough times so that that memory in my imagination is then stronger than the event in reality, to the point where when people ask me how my hand was today, I was a little bit confused because I was like, hang on a second, what happened? Nothing happened to my hand. What do you mean? And I had to think that, oh, hang on, yeah, they were aware of that. But according to my hand, there's no evidence that anything happened yesterday. There's no pain. There's not even a mark. There's just nothing there. It's like it never happened, as I created it in my imagination for it not to have happened. And that's the technique of revising. It's very powerful. I encourage you to give it a go. Use it. Try it with something small, or try it with something big, in inverted commas. That's all I wanted to share. I hope you found this video useful in some way. Please feel free to share with family and friends. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you can do that too. I'd love to have you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.